Hello, 8th graders. Well, today we're going to talk about special type of equations. And you will see what those special type of equations look like. In some cases, we actually will end up with no solution. And you will see the reason why do we have no solution. So go ahead and write down the topic, special type of equations, and we're going to solve equations with variables on both sides. Practice assignment is going to be 3.4c worksheet, and you're going to have this worksheet under level 4 and the green basket. Alright, so now let's begin with the first example. We have 19 minus 13p equals negative 17p minus 5. Okay, well, so far we've been solving equations with 1 step, 2 steps, and some variables. So let's take a look of what do we have here. First thing, in order to solve these equations, we want to combine everything that is possible. And you guys learn when you're solving equations, your goal is always to solve the equation for the variable, which means we have to combine some variables if they are two, for example, on the left and the right side, and we also have to move away all the numbers that are itself, isolate them, and leave the variable alone at the end. So let's begin. We have negative 13p on the left, negative 17p on the right. I want to combine those. You can choose which one you want to move away. Let's say negative 17p needs to go to the left. So negative 17, the opposite of this will be plus 17p. And we do plus 17p on both sides. And make sure you line up under the variable, not way to the left, way to the right, under the exact number that you're working with. So negative 17p plus 17p cancel out. Negative 13 plus 17, this will give me 4p. Okay, we have 19 here. 19 plus 4p will be equal to, and we have negative p. Alright, so now we are solving for variable p, and you will cancel the number that is added or subtracted to p term first. In this case is number 19, so we're gonna subtract 19. This is positive, the opposite will be minus 19. Positive 19, negative 19 cancel, and we have 4p is equal to negative 5 minus 19 is negative 24. Final step, we'll divide by 4 both sides, so p will be equal to negative, 6. That will be the final answer. So this is a perfect example of equation that has variables on both sides. Let's take a look at the next example. In the next example, we have negative 18 plus 6y equals 8 times inside the parentheses y minus 5. So first thing, we have to work on distributive property. So I'm going to copy the rest of it. Minus 18 plus 6y is equal to 8 times y is 8y, 8 times negative 5 is negative 4. Now we have very similar situation like the first equation. So we're going to combine those variables, and you can choose which one do you want to move around. Let's say this time we're going to move 6y to the right. This is positive, so we will do the opposite, minus 6y on both sides. This cancel, and we have negative 18 left equals to 8y minus 6y is 2y minus 40. Okay, so now because we're solving for variable y, you want to take remove negative 40. We want to cancel that. So the opposite will be plus 40 on each side. Those two cancel. Negative 18 plus 40 will give us 22 equals 2y. One last step will be to divide by 2. So 22 divided by 2 is 11 equals y. Final answer for this example. Alright, so let's take a look at a few more examples. The front page of those video notes will be mainly about solving equations with variables on both sides. So Another example, 6 times 3x minus 4 inside the parentheses equals 12x. Okay, I'm gonna draw the line and I will apply distributive property. 6 times 3x is 18x, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24, equals 12x. So look at this, we have 18x here and 12x over here. Because there is only one variable, only one term actually on the right side, let's go ahead and move this right here because we want to combine those x's. So minus 18x minus 18x. Those two cancel. Negative 24 will be equal to 12 minus 18 is negative 6x. Okay, and one more step, we'll divide by negative 6 both sides. This 2 cancel. Negative 24 divided by negative 6 will be positive 4 equals x. Alright, wonderful. So if you need to pause the video just and take your moment to finish the notes, please do so. Otherwise, I will keep going and you can follow me. 6 plus x equals 6 times x minus 5. So distributive property again here on the left side we have 6 plus x equals 6 times x is 6x, 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Okay, so x here by itself, remember it means we have 1x. So if it's 1x and we want to move it over here, we will subtract 1x minus 1x from both sides. Those two cancel. 6 will be equal to 6 minus 1x is 5x minus 30. Couple more steps. We're going to add 30 to both sides. Those two cancel. 6 plus 30 is 36 equals 5x. Final step will be to divide by 5. And we have 36 over 5 equals x. If you want, you can simplify this as a mixed number because it's improper fraction. You can leave it like that, or you can just write down the decimal answer that you got on the calculator. Either way will work. Next example, k plus 1 is equal to 3k minus 1. Alright, well let's see what's going on here. So, let's move the numbers first. Or, since we're working with the variables, I'm going to stick to the variable. So 1k and 3k. So I'm going to subtract 1k minus 1k, both sides. This cancel, then 1 will be equal to 3 minus 1k will be 2k minus 1. Then we're going to move this number to the left, plus 1. Those cancel. 1 plus 1 is 2 equals 2k. Final step, divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1 equals k. K is 1 and that's the final answer. Alright, well, I hope by now everybody is doing pretty good with solving equations. This is the only different right now because we have variables on both sides and you just need to combine them before you solving your final steps from the equation. Alright, well, let's take a look at the real life example. How do we use now the information that is given to set up equation? So you don't need to write the whole example, just make sure you put some numbers down, some information that is given, so it's going to make more sense to you when you start solving similar examples like this. Currently you have $80 and your sister has 145. Well, that's maybe not the case you would like to be because your sister has much more than you, but that's okay. You decide to save $6 each week, while your sister decides to spend her whole allowance $7 each week. Well, here's the good case. You're saving money, she's spending. How long will it be before you have as much money as your sister? So there are two cases. You start with some amount of money, so I'm going to put the equal sign and let's write the two cases. On the left side, it's you. On the right side is your sister. So you have $80, she has 145. That's the start. Then you want to save $6 each week. if you save money, it means that $6 should be a positive number, right? Because you're adding money to your account. So it'll be plus 6W for the weeks, 6 weeks. And your sister, she's spending money, so this now will be minus $7 for each week. And look at this, we already set up the equation. So now once we solve it, we will know in which week you both will have exactly the same amount of money. So I'm gonna combine W's variables again, so minus 6W minus 6W. Those cancel, we have AD equals 145, negative 7 minus 6 will be negative 13W. Okay, then I'm gonna subtract 145 from both sides, those two cancel. The difference of this will be negative 65 equals negative 13W. Final step, we'll divide by negative 13. And 65, negative 65 divided by negative 13, I think will give us 5 weeks. But I just got the calculator because I want to make sure the answer is absolutely correct. So 65 divided by 13, yes. So we have the answer here, W equals 5 weeks. Okay, 5 weeks. This means on the 5th week, during the whole process you're saving and she's spending, on the 5th week you will have exactly the same amount of money. Great. Okay, so we're gonna keep going because I want to show you how do we solve equations, continue solving equations, and what happened when something doesn't go so right. Okay, so let's take a look of next. If you're done, awesome, follow me. If not, pause the video, finish the problem, and come back to the video. Alright, so let's take a look. I have several examples here for you, and we're gonna start solving those. We'll take a look and see why do we have all those examples? What do we want to do with them? So, example number 3. We have 5D. Actually, I'm gonna zoom that so you guys can see better, and we'll just move the paper. So 5D minus 3 plus 2D equals 4D plus 9. Alright, so let's combine those. 5 plus 2 will give us 7D minus 3 equals to 4D plus 9. Okay, so we combine like terms first and then we continue solving. Minus 4D on both sides, this one cancel. We have 3D minus 3 is equal to 9. Plus 3, so 3D equals 12, divide by 3, and final, I'm gonna write it here, D equals 4. Final answer, D equals 4. Okay? Next example. So those are examples that we are still applying multi-steps, but we have to do a couple of things before we start solving the equation, which means we gotta combine like terms, or maybe we have to apply distributive property. So here's another example. 8b plus 11 minus 3b is equal to 2b plus 2. Well, 8b minus 3b are two like terms, which is 5b, plus 11 equals 2b plus 2. Okay, so we're going to combine the variables, minus 2b minus 2b. Those two cancel. 5 minus 2 will be 3b plus 11 equals 2. Then we're going to subtract 11 from both sides and we'll get 3b is equal to negative 9. Divide by 3, final step, so b is equal to negative 3. Alright, so I'm going to skip this example here. It's okay, just skip this one. We will do a couple together in the class. Let's go ahead and take a look of this one over here. So we have 6 times 7 minus 2p is inside the parentheses is equal to another 3 times 5p plus 1 inside the parentheses. On the left and right side we have distributive property. So we will apply this one first. So apply distributive property. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times negative 2 will be negative 12p equals to another distributive property here. 3 times 5 will be 15p and 3 times 1 is plus 3. Once we are done with the distributive property, we can start combining those look-like terms. So I would say plus 12p plus 12p over here, those two cancel. 42 is equal to 27p plus 3. Then I'm gonna subtract 3 minus 3 from both sides, and we will get 39 is equal to 27p. Final step, we'll divide by 27, and you can definitely simplify that on the calculator. Maybe some of you already had the answer, which is 1.444 repeating, so I would just say approximately 1.5p. Hopefully that is the right answer. If you see mistake, let me know. It is possible to make mistakes, even though teachers should know better that, you know, we gotta get the right information for you. But we all are learning from mistakes, so mistakes are allowed. Okay, find the perimeter of the triangle. Imagine you have given triangle. So go ahead and draw this picture of the triangle, and on one side it says 9x minus 3, the other side says 4x plus 7. This is the side we don't know, but what we know is that this triangle actually has all three sides equal to each other. So if all sides are equal to each other, we can equal two of the sides, find the variable, and once we have the variable x, what is x equal to, then we can apply the perimeter and just add all sides together. So here's what I'm talking about. First thing, let's make those two equal as an equation. So it's going to be 9x minus 3 is equal to 4x plus 7. So look at this. Left side is equal to the right side. That's exactly what I wrote here. Draw a line and let's solve that. Minus 4x minus 4x. Cancel those. This will get 5x minus 3 is equal to 7. Plus 3 plus 3, those two cancel. 5x is equal 10. Final step, divide by 5 and we get x equals 2. Alright, so x is 2, which is awesome, but we're not done yet. Let's calculate what is equal to one side of this triangle. So one side of this triangle, let's say this one, will be 9x minus 3. And we will substitute x now up here to see what this will be exactly equal to. So instead of x, now we will put number 2, so it will be 9 times 2 minus 3. 9 times 2 is 18 minus 3, we get 15. So one side of the triangle is 15. Well, if we know that all three sides are equal to each other, it means this one is 15, this one is also 15, and this one will also be 15. Well, the perimeter then, P, will be equal to, what do we know? The perimeter is when we add all three sides. So it'll be 15 plus 15 plus 15. 15 plus 15 plus 15. When we add all three sides, we'll get that the total perimeter of this triangle is 45. So step 1, we set up the equation. Once you get what x is equal to, step 2, you had to just pick one of the two expressions that represents one side of the equation. And then, since you have the expression, again, think about it, since each side is equal, it doesn't matter which one of those two expressions you're gonna pick. So in this case, I just picked this one. I substitute x with 2, and we got that one side, one length of this triangle is 15. In order to find the perimeter, we just had to add 15 plus 15 plus 15, all three sides, which makes 45 total. And we have similar case in the next example. And this time, I'm going to ask you to draw this rectangular shape. Okay? So the rectangular shape. Find the perimeter of the rectangle. Well, the perimeter of rectangle is equal to all, when we add all the sides, we will get the perimeter, right? So let's go ahead and add all those things. It's gonna be 7x minus 15, so I start with this, plus 2x plus 10 plus 10. Okay, so we have, this is 10 meters, and 7x minus 15 on the top, and 2x on the bottom. So this is what the perimeter is equal to. That's the formula. Now, what else do we know? Well, we know that this side is equal to this side, correct? So let's go ahead and equal those two. 7x minus 15 is equal to 2x. So we're gonna subtract 7x minus 7x, both sides. We get negative 15 is equal to negative 5x. Final step will be to divide by negative 5. So 3 equals x. We got x. What will be my next step? Oh, I'm sorry, you don't see that. I just wrote here, okay, so on the right side I equal 7x minus 15 to be equal to 2x. 7x minus 15 equals to 2x. And then I solve the equation for x. Minus 7x on both sides, we get negative 15 is equal to negative 5x, and then we divide it by negative 5 both sides. X is 3. If I know x, just like this top problem, I'm gonna go back to the perimeter formula. We'll substitute x with 3 and we'll calculate the total perimeter. So the perimeter will be equal to 7 times 3 instead of x minus 15 plus 2 times 3 plus 10 plus 10. You can definitely use the calculator. That's what I'm going to do. Or if you want to practice your mental math, you can go ahead and multiply those numbers without calculator. So 7 times 3 minus 15 plus 2 times 3, and 1 second, I need to use 2 times 3, okay, and then plus 10 plus 10. Okay, and this will give us total of 32. So 7 times 3 is 21, minus 15, 6, plus another 6, 12, plus 10, plus 10, total of 32. The perimeter is 32. And that will be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching the video. Have a great day and let me know if you have any questions.